Well, hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. And today we are ranking more music. I had so much fun doing my Taylor Swift ranking video that I just desperately wanted to start on the next one as soon as I finished it. I was like, this was so much fun. I want to do the next one. So today we're doing a very, very different artist. No one like Taylor Swift. Today we are doing Nickelback, the Canadian uh, rock band that are best known for being a meme. So I know that people don't like Nickelback. I know that Nickelback are a meme. I've seen look at this photograph. I know I've seen the pictures where it's like, oh look, a Nickelback concert and there's one guy sitting in an empty stadium. I've seen it. I've seen them all. Every single joke you want to make about Nickelback, I've already heard it from everybody that I know. But look, I've loved Nickelback since I first heard How You Remind Me when I was a kid when it came out. I've seen them either 5 or 6 times. I can't remember exactly because all but one of the gigs was at the same venue, which makes it very hard to differentiate. But I think six. I think I've seen them 6 times live. I think it's six. I've seen them a lot. Every time that they go on tour, I will be there, right? I will be at that concert. Um, I love Nickelback. They are my favorite band up there. Them and Evanescence are my two favorite bands. I just love them so much. Their music makes me so happy. And like, I know I've heard it, it's like all their music sounds the same. Sure, but then at least they never have a bad album because, well, apart from Curb, but they never have a bad album because you always know what you're gonna get. You know when you go to your favorite restaurant and you know you could order something different, but you love that one particular meal, so you order the same thing every time you go because you just love it and it just makes you happy and it's comforting. That's Nickelback. Nickelback is your favorite meal at your favorite restaurant because it's like you always know what you're going to get. And even when they bring out a new album, you know you're going to love it because it's going to sound like all the other albums. You know what I mean? Like, Nickelback are comforting, right? And like they've said it, they're like, we know that we're a meme. We know these jokes that everyone hates us, but we sell out stadiums. Every time we release albums, they sell millions of copies. So like we're happy. Like the whole reason we're here is to make music. And as long as people are buying the music and showing up to our gigs and singing along with our songs, we don't care if we have this hatedom because we've got fans and that's all we hear about. And I think that's great. Good for them. And it's true because every Nickelback gig I've been to has been sold out and everybody is singing along and people are just like loving life. There is such a great energy at a Nickelback gig. Like everybody's just so hyped to be there. So if you're not a Nickelback fan, to be honest, you're missing out on a good time, is what I think. But today we are ranking all the Nickelback albums, so let's go through our tier list to start with. So at the top, we have God tier. Obviously, God tier is their best songs, top songs, songs that just I cannot live without. Next time we have HWFG, which stands for Here We Fucking Go. So whenever Nickelback play Glasgow, someone always starts a chant. Scotland have this thing that any sort of like event, well, one that's like primarily adults. Like you probably wouldn't do it at like I don't know, like the circus. I don't know, like something you probably wouldn't go to a kids thing and start Here We Fucking Go. But any kind of adult event, concerts, anything like that, someone will start a chant of Here we fucking go. So someone did this at a Nickelback gig in Glasgow years ago, and Chad was standing on the stage and he's like, I don't know what you guys are saying, but I love it. And then like Mike come over and whispered in his ear and he's like, oh, Mike tells me that it's here we fucking go. And he's like, I love that. So then they start doing it. So then the next time they came to Glasgow, someone started it again. And that time, Nickelback remembered it from the last time. So Nickelback were on stage like, here we fucking go. And they loved it. They love coming to Glasgow because honestly, the energy at a Glasgow concert, no matter who it is that you go to, Darren Hayes said the same thing. Like, the energy you get at a Glasgow gig is insane. So Here We Fucking Go is for the songs that are not quite God tier, but they make you go, here we fucking go. Nickel Bop is for songs that I like a lot, but not quite here we fucking go status, so they're Nickel Bops. Elvis Without the Tassels is an awful tier name, but it was honestly the best I could think of. I spent like an hour sitting going through lyrics in my head to try and think of something for the like You know how my Taylor Swift one I had, it's not love, it's not hate, it's just indifference? For that tier, could not think of a good Nickelback lyric to suit it, so I ended up going with Elvis without the tassels. And how do you spell tassels? Because it says it's spelt wrong. Is it like that? Tassels. Okay, it says that's spelled right, so we'll go with that. So Elvis without the tassels is essentially that it's not love, it's not hate, it's just indifference here. Meh is for the songs that are just meh. Like, I have nothing to say about them, they're just meh. And at the bottom, we have You Brought Me Nickelback. So if you don't know that reference, You Brought Me Nickelback is from their music video for This Afternoon, and I'll show you the clip. I'll include the clip in the video because it's just hilarious.
Sweet! Eric is here with the tunage. What do you got? Nickelback? You got me Nickelback? All right, fine, they'll do. Boys, get them in there.
But just in case it gets copyright striked, I'll explain it. So basically, this frat boy, like college guy, is throwing a party in his back garden, and his friend pulls up in a van, and he's like, "Oh yay, whoever is here with the tunage," and they open up the doors, and it's Nickelback like tied up, and he's like, "Nickelback, you brought me Nickelback," and then he's like, "Whatever, they'll do." So you brought me Nickelback is for their worst songs. So yeah, let's just get into it. So we have to talk first of all about the situation that we have to go into first. So Nickelback have 10 studio albums, same as Taylor Swift, although definitely less songs. Also, can we talk about the description of this? Look, every Nickelback song or something tier list maker. If you want to put yourself through the agony or delight of listening to every Nickelback song ever, this is the list for you or something. I don't know. Just don't talk to me. Thanks. Bye. I'm mood. Um, yeah, Nickelback have 10 albums and yet far less songs than Taylor. But their first two albums are like underground, if you want. They weren't mainstream. They didn't become mainstream until they released How You Remind Me off the Silver Side Up album. So Silver Side Up is kind of thought as their first album, but it's actually their third because no one knows Curb in the state. So Curb is what we're going to do first because it's their first album. But I have to tell you, Curb is awful. I'm sure there's someone out there that likes Curb, but it's not my kind of music. It's not the Nickelback sound that we know. Like, Nickelback have a very distinctive sound. Like, if you heard a song on the radio, even if you weren't a Nickelback fan, you would go, that's Nickelback, because you just recognize that sound. Curb doesn't sound anything like Nickelback. It actually sounds closer to The Offspring. It's that kind of sound, which is not a sound that I enjoy. It's not music that I like. So we are going to whip through Curb as fast as we can because I just don't care about this album and never listen to it, and it's just not for me. So let's do Curb. They're not in order on this list, so that's really, really helpful. So I have to actually like go through and try and find them, so that's really fun. Uh, okay, so let me see. I've got a list on my phone so I know what order they're in because I know that I don't know this album as well as the others. So let me just. So first we've got Little Friend. Here we are, Little Friend. So Little Friend, I'm going to put in meh. I don't really have a lot to say about these songs, so this is literally a whip round. Pusher is also meh. Detangler is You Brought Me Nickelback. Curb itself is meh. Where is meh, but Where does get points because the lyrics of Where are at least discernible. The thing about the songs on Curb is that literally you can't make out a word that Chad is saying. It's literally just. You can't make out a word he's saying. Where, at least when you listen to it, I can understand his. I can understand what he's saying. I can hear the lyrics. And that is certainly helpful when you're listening to a song to be able to hear the lyrics. That's always useful. So Where is meh, but it does get bonus points for being like having decipherable lyrics. Falls back on. There we are. Meh. Sea Groove is meh. Sea Groove is not the worst off that album. I'll give it that. Fly is actually not bad. Where is Fly? Fly, 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 fly. Fly is off their original Hersher EP, which I'm not even considering on this. It's not on this list, and I can't be bothered. But Fly is on their original EP, so that's one of their earliest songs. And actually, I'm gonna put it in Elvis Without the Tassels because it's really not that bad. It's actually okay. Just For. So I don't know. Is Just For on here twice? Because the thing we have to say about Just For is that there's a reason that that's the only song from Curb that was re-recorded and put onto Silver Side Up, because Just For is a Nickelback. Um, it's the only song from Curb that deserves any credit. They've got Just For, it's Just For. Um, Just For, right. I don't condone the message of the song, but if this was a tier list of how much I morally agree with the lyrics of the song, it would be a very, very different tier list. Just For is basically about beating up some guy that broke a girl's heart. But I don't know, there's just something about it. I love it. It's like, to break his mind now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love it. The version that's on Silver Side Up is definitely better than the version on Curb, but like I say, there's a reason that Just For made it onto Silver Side Up because it's the only song from Curb that deserves any credit whatsoever. Curb is so bad. Okay, so next up we have Left. Left is meh. Window Shopper. God's sake, Window Shopper. Window Shopper is awful. Window Shopper is You Brought Me Nickelback. And I Don't Have is passable. It's Elvis Without the Tassels, if I can find it. I don't have Elvis Without the Tassels. So that's Curb. Although to be completely honest, they could all of these could actually be in You Brought Me Nickelback. To be quite honest, like they all suck. Like they all suck. You know what? You know what? I'm actually gonna move. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually gonna move Little Friend and Pusher into You Brought Me Nickelback because to be honest, I feel like there's way too many songs and meh. Like the album is so bad that yeah, I think it needs more. So yeah, I'm putting Little Friends and Pusher going into You Brought Me Nickelback because I just no. Okay, so that was Curb, and thank God we're through that. We're through that. So next up is The State, and The State is actually a lot better. It's a huge improvement over Curb. It's a lot closer to the sound that we know from Silver Side Up. It's still a bit like off, but it's definitely closer to the sound that we recognize from Nickelback. So, um, yeah, so we're gonna do The State. So the first up is Breathe. And Breathe I actually quite like, to be quite honest. Like I don't love it, but I'm gonna put in Elvis Without the Tassels because it's actually a pretty decent song overall. Cowboy Hat is the same. Where is it? Cowboy Hat. Cowboy Hat is Elvis Without the Tassels. Leader of Men. Leader of Men is a nickel bop. I love Leader of Men. It's so hard to swallow. Where the fuck is it? This is so difficult when they're like none of them are in the right order here. They're not even in like albums. They're just all over here we are. Leader of Men. Leader of Men was a single and actually got like airplay. So it must have been a decent song because like I've actually seen it like I've seen the video on the music channels and I've never seen anything else from Curb of the State on the music channel. So Leader of Men actually like broke through and became mainstream before How You Remind Me skyrocketed them to like the public consciousness. Old Enough. This is such there we are, Old Enough. Old Enough is Elvis Without the Tassels. Um Worthy to Say is not good, to be honest. Not good. Worthy to Say is meh. Going in meh. Digging This is also meh. Uh, Deep. Deep is also meh. These albums are not great. Um, One Last Run is You Brought Me Nickelback. It's not good. Not Leaving Yet is also You Brought Me Nickelback. It's not good. And Hold Out Your Hand is meh. Where did it go? I definitely saw it. Hold Out Your Hand. Is meh. Okay, so that's Curb in the State done. So we're out of the bad eras now. We're into the goods. We're into the goods. So we're doing a lot better from here on out. Have to say, Get Rollin' isn't on this because obviously the person who made it before Get Rollin' came out at the end of last year. So I have made a second tier list of just Get Rollin'. So we'll use that when we get to it. But now we're going into good times. We're going into Silver Side Up. We're into the mainstream Nickelback era. We're out of the hell that is Curb in the State, and we're into actual good Nickelback. So let's get into it, eh? So our first up is Never Again. I'm gonna say for Never Again, actually, Elvis Without the Tassels. I do like it, but it's just not a favorite for me. Never Again is all about an abusive husband who keeps like beating up his wife, and then one day she picks up the gun and shoots him. So, I mean, good for her, really. But it's a very hard song. Like it's quite thrashy, and it's just not my fave. I definitely prefer a more melodic song from Nickelback, but yeah, I don't dislike it, which is why it's Elvis without tassels, but not a fave. Next up is, of course, How You Remind Me, and How You Remind Me is god tier. Like, come on. Like, it doesn't matter where I am. As soon as I hear, Never made it as a wise man, I couldn't cut it as a poor man stealing, I'm just like, oh, that's, here we go, my song. Like, that was the song that got me into Nickelback. I remember it coming out, and I remember my parents loving it. I loved it because my parents are both big Nickelback fans as well. We're all huge Nickelback stans in this family. Um, my parents saw Nickelback when I was like 10 without me, and I'll always be angry that they went without me, even though I know like 10 years old is way too young to be going to a rock concert, really. But like, I'm still sad that I missed out on a Nickelback concert, even though I've seen them like 6 times. But like, still sad that I missed out on a Nickelback concert. I'm so excited for when they tour with Get Rollin'. Like, I will be there. I'm so hyped for that. Anyway, um, yeah, How You Remind Me is just so good. Like, it's so good. There is another tier list on here, and it says ranking Nickelback songs, and it's literally just How You Remind Me in Photograph, as if the person that made it was like, Nickelback only have 2 songs, here's the songs. Which is weird because why Photograph, though? Um, but yeah, like, tired of living like a blind man, sick of sight without a sense of feeling, and this is how you remind me of who I really am. This is how you remind me of what I really am. It's not like you to say sorry. I was waiting on a different story, and this time I'm mistaken for hitting your heart with breaking. I've been wrong, I've been down, been to the bottom of every bottle. These 5 words in my head scream, are we having fun? Yeah. So, so good. I love How You Remind Me. It will always be an incredible song. Okay, next up we have. To be honest, I can't remember the order of this album. I'm trying really hard. Woke Up This Morning. Probably Elvis Without the Tassels. Woke Up This Morning is not a favourite of mine. But again, I don't dislike it. But like, it's not my favourite. Didn't woke up this morning. I don't know all the lyrics, I have to be honest. Too bad. Too bad is god tier. Too bad is god tier. Right. Too bad is good on its own, but you haven't experienced Too Bad until you've heard it live. Nickelback love performing this song live. I'm sure they performed it every single gig I've been to, right? Which is weird because it's a depressing song about an absentee father that's never there for his son or his wife, and she has to work like 2 jobs to try and support her son because her husband is never around, and just like disappears out of their lives, just like walks out on them, and then only comes back years later when it's like too late, you know. um but Nickelback love performing this song live. They've got the echo mic to do the father's hands, and they always say like they want everyone to jump at the chorus, which is hilarious because the chorus is depressing. It's like it's too bad, it's too late, so wrong, so long. It's too bad that we had no time to rewind. Let's walk, let's talk. Like it's depressing, but everyone jumps up and down. And everyone's like, it's too bad, it's too bad, it's too late, so wrong, so long. And the vibe is so good when they sing it live, and it's got a great music video. Like it's a very narrative video, and like the boy who's like the son in the song, like crashes his car, which is what finally makes the father come back and like finally have that walk and talk with his son, and so good. It's called Too Bad, but it's so good. And that echo mic, I love when they use the echo mic on stage. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but it is in it produces an echo. It's great. They love that in their songs. They use it in like if everyone cared, like they use it in a lot of songs. Okay, I'm trying to think. Let me get the fucking order up on my phone. Okay, next up is Just For, but that's not listed here because they've got it for Curb, so that's fine. Nickelbop, obviously. Hollywood. Hollywood is a Nickelbop, I think. I actually really like that song. I really like, they've got a kind of like an affectation on the lyrics where it's like, um I can't even create it, it would sound stupid. But like they've got this kind of weird kind of affectation on the vocals and I love it. I love Hollywood. It's just a bop. It's a nickel bop. It has that's what we have that's what it is, nickel bop. Um Money Bot is probably Elvis Without the Tassels for me. Like it's not a favorite, but I I don't have anything against it. Next up is Where Do I Hide? Where Do I Hide is Here We Fucking Go. I love Where Do I Hide. I slept on that song for so long, and then one day I just sort of listened to it and was like, man, this song's so good. I still hear him screaming, Where do I hide? And all he asks, and I say, hurry inside. That's the thing that I love about Chad is that thing that he does so often in songs, like, like where do I hide? Like the on the I don't know what the musical term is for that, but like up and down on the words. All he asks and I say, hurry inside. Whole lot of memory, yours, not mine. I love that. I love that. So any song where he does that is a good one for me. But yeah, here we fucking go for Where Do I Hide? That it makes me say here we fucking go. Hangnail is Elvis Without the Tassels. It's kind of on the same level as Moneybot. Like I don't listen to it that often, to be honest. But I don't feel like it's meh. Or is it? Actually, yeah, okay. I'm gonna put Hangnail in meh, because I feel bad putting it up against Never Again. Good Times Gone is Nickelbop. I really like Good Times Gone. Yeah, no, I like Good Times Gone. So that is all of Silver Side Up. Uh, I'm loving this. Like we've got a little kind of like feels like a building. I feel bad that there's only three up here from Silver Side Up, but I mean, what can you do? Their albums get better as they go along. Okay, so their next album is The Long Road, which it's their fourth album, obviously, but it was kind of considered a sophomore slump because it's one of their kind of like less popular albums. But honestly, like it has always been my favorite Nickelback album. I just think as a cohesive album, like I can listen to The Long Road, the entire album, over and over and over again. I just think it's so sonically cohesive as an album, and it just doesn't have like bad songs. I love The Long Road. I don't think it was a sophomore slump at all. I think it was fantastic. So, Flat on the Floor is I'm gonna say Elvis Without the Tassels, just because I don't think it's quite Nickelbop status, but I don't dislike it. Please do not get me confused. Um, Do This Anymore. Do This Anymore is a Nickelbop. Can't do this anymore. No, actually, I was gonna say, I'm thinking maybe actually Here We Fucking Go for Do This Anymore. And it's pinged into there anyway. So yeah, Here We Fucking Go for Do This Anymore. Oh, so good. I love it. Someday. Someday is going straight into God tier. Someday is my second favorite Nickelback song of all time. I love Someday so, so much. Like, you can't even understand how much I love this song. Like, as soon as, like, if like, I'm out somewhere, right? Or if I'm at their concert, because it doesn't have an intro, right? The first thing I hear is just, how the hell we wind up like this? And I'm like, because it's like, I love it so, so much. And, oh, I mean, it's a sad song, but it's like, as soon as it comes on, I'm just like, I feel it in my soul because I love it so much. Someday, somehow, we're gonna make it alright, but not right now. I know you're wondering when. You're the only one who knows that someday, somehow, we're gonna make it alright, but not right now. I know you're wondering when. And one of my favorite lyrics they've ever had. Let's rewrite an ending that fits instead of a Hollywood horror. I love that line so much. And Someday has such a good video. So like there are two endings to the Someday video. But here's basically how it goes. It starts off and there's like a guy in his kitchen reading a newspaper, and he clearly reads something in the newspaper that shocks him. So he drops the paper and he walks through the milk on the floor because he like knocks the milk over. And there's no feet prints in the milk, right? Bear that in mind. And then stuff happens. He goes out, and his girlfriend is like rallying the car up the street, and then she crashes her car, and he's like, "Oh no!" But then at the end of the video, she gets out the car, and in the version that airs on TV, she gets out the car, walks to him, and the two of them hug, and they walk off together. And then it cuts to the newspaper, and we see that the article he was reading was about his own death. He died in an accident. So she's obviously been so upset by his death. She went out, drove the car too fast, she crashed, but now the two of them are reunited and they went into the afterlife together. The version that's everywhere else apart from on the TV, she gets out the car and she survives, and he like wraps his arms around her, and she you can see that she like feels his spirit, so she like gets closure from the fact that she knows that even though he's not physically there with her anymore, like he's still with her in spirit, so she has the strength to go on with her life knowing that he's not gone completely. Either way, video was beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's one of the best songs they've ever had. I love Someday so much. Believe it or not, I'm gonna say as a Nickelbot, believe it or not, most of us have things that we hide. Yeah, like I feel like Believe It or Not is underrated. It's a Nickelbot. I don't think I've ever seen them perform it live. I've seen them perform quite a few songs in this album live, and people do really, really love this album and the proper fandom, but I feel like most of the songs from it are underrated, to be honest. Feeling Way Too Damn Good, Nickelbop. Something's gotta go wrong, cause I'm feeling way too damn good. It was a single, but I'm like, there were better songs in this album to release as singles, but like, yeah, Feeling Way Too Damn Good's great, but if I remember right in the video, they've got like sparkly light things like flying around them. It's very Take That Greatest Day vibe, which is a bit odd for Nickelback, but you know, whatever. Because of You is definitely one of their harder songs, but I'm gonna put it in Nickelbop because it's really, really good. Like I say, like I tend to prefer their more melodic songs, but Because of You, really good. What you do, what you do, what you do. So good, so good, so good. Figured You Out. Figured You Out is Here We Fucking Go. I love this song. Know who you are. It wasn't that hard just to figure you out. Now you did. I wonder why. Now I know who you are. It wasn't that hard just to figure you out. Now I did. You wonder why. So good. I love that song. I love it. So good. Should have listened as God tier. Now I guess I should've listened when you say you had enough. A little trick I picked up from my father in one ear and out the other. Why's love gotta be so tough? I actually thought about naming this year in one ear and out the other, but I just couldn't be bothered like having to read that out every time I put a song in there. So um, but yeah, Should Have Listened is underrated. It's one of their best songs and no one appreciates it. Should Have Listened is so good. So good. One of my favorites that they've ever done, honestly. Throw Yourself Away. Throw Yourself Away is Here We Fucking Go. But this song is so crazy, right? Because it's all about a girl who gives birth on the bathroom floor on prom night and then pretends the baby isn't hers. And they wrote this song and released it before this actually was a real true crime thing. Like, you remember the case? Her name was something like Brooke Schuyler or Schuyler Brooke or something like that. And she was a cheerleader who gave birth on prom night and then, like, buried her baby in the garden and then went to prom and pretended it never happened. And it's like the exact same thing as the story of this song, even though this song came out first and then it basically happened in real life. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Um, but yeah, no, really depressing song, but really good song. Why the hell don't you throw yourself away? Uh, okay, Another Hole in the Head is probably going to be Elvis Without the Tassels. It's not my favorite. I need another hole in the head. Um, Actually, no, Nickelbop. Nickelbop for Another Hole in the Head. It's not that bad. It's probably, yeah, no, Another Hole in the Head is Nickelbop. Yeah, I needed you as bad as I needed another hole. But I needed you probably as bad as I needed another hole in the head. A great lyric. Better than, Sugar Babes have that song called Another Hole in the no, called Hole in the Head. It's like, boy, I miss you like a hole in the head because I do, boy, and it's true, boy. See You at the Show is like a song about like shagging your fans at a show, so like, or like a groupie or whatever. It's not one that I particularly love, so it's going into Elvis Without the Tassels. It's not that bad, but like, it's not one that I really listen to, and it's the last song on the album. So I usually just by the time I get that far, give up because I'm like, oh, the next one, See You at the Show, I'll just skip it, and just yeah. But honestly, it's such a good album, such a good album. The Long Road is so underappreciated, honestly. So next up we have probably this album with the most well-known songs on it. I feel like All the Right Reasons was their like most mainstream album, and it's the one that like had the singles on it that most people recognize. It's got Rockstar, Far Away, Saving Me, um Photograph. So like all their kind of a lot of their big hits came off of this album. This was the album that kind of made them even more mainstream than they already were. Like mainstream radio, not just mainstream rock radio, but like mainstream pop radio almost. Like they were everywhere with Photograph and Far Away and Rockstar. Like everyone knew those songs. So this is probably their most well-known album. But honestly, not my favorite. Not my favorite album, but still. Okay, so the first up is Follow You Home. I'm gonna put that in Nickelback. Uh, yeah, not my favorite song, but yeah, Nickelback. Nickelback for Follow You Home. Fight for All the Wrong Reasons, I honestly never listened to, so I'm gonna say that it's meh. Like, I just never listened to it, honestly. It, I couldn't even really give you an opinion because it's just not, it's a skip for me. It's a skip. It's the name of the album, like, well, Fight for All the Wrong Reasons. The album's got all the right reasons, but like, not a fave. Photograph. I cannot, in good conscience, put Photograph any higher than a Nickelbop. It's not that good, but at the same time, like, it's so catchy. You know, like, the thing is, the tune's so repetitive. Even Nickelback have admitted that the song is too repetitive, that the tune is not great, that it's too repetitive because it's just like um and it just keeps doing that and then you get to the chorus. But yeah, I mean it's catchy and it comes off and it's like, look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. You can't help it. What the hell is on Joey's head? Kim's the first girl I kissed. I was so nervous that I nearly missed. Incredible lyrics. Not really, I'm joking. They're hilarious. They're hilariously silly, but the chorus is so good, every memory of looking out the back door, got the photo and spread out on the bedroom floor. It's hard to say it, time to say it. Goodbye, goodbye. Every memory of walking out the front door. I found the photo of the friend that I was looking for. It's hard to say it, time to say it. Goodbye, goodbye. The bridge is great as well. But yeah, Photograph is Knucklebob. It's a bit cringe, but it's good. You can't deny it's good. Animals used to be one of my least favorites because I thought it was just way too hard when I was a kid, right? Because we're talking, I don't know, when did this album come out? 2005. So I was just about to turn 10. It came out in October 2005, so I wasn't quite 10. I was just on the cusp of turning 10. Um, so it was just too hard for me back then. Like I didn't like their hard songs. They like were just a bit much for me. But I'm a lot older now and my taste in music and my taste in like I've become a big fan of like hard rock and heavy metal. So Animals now for me, bop. now it comes on, and I'm like, no, we're never gonna quit. Ain't nothing wrong with it. We're just acting like we're animals. No, no matter where we go, everybody knows we're just a couple of animals. Just get in, check out the trouble we're in. It's so catchy, right? Like it's so good. It's got such a great tune. Oh God, my favorite Nickelback song of all time, Saving Me is God tier. Saving Me changed my brain chemistry. Saving Me is my champagne problems. Like, I love this song so much. I love this song so much. I just put it on, I'm actually gonna cry. Like, I love it so much. I'm on the ledge of the 18th story. All I need is you. Come, please, I'm calling. Oh, I scream for you. Hurry, I'm falling. Show me what it's like to be the last one standing. Teach me wrong from right. And I'll show you what I can be. Say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me. Oh, I love it so much. The music video is really good as well. The music video is like about a guy who basically gets rescued. Like, he almost dies, right? He has this near death experience. But when he's saved, when he looks up, he realizes he sees counters over everyone's head. And he can't understand why. And he realizes that because he's been saved, he now can see the countdown to everyone else's death, and he knows the counter tells you how long until they die, and eventually he sees someone whose counter starts going really really fast, like it's fine, and then it starts speeding up because she's about to die, something's happened and it's about to kill her. So he saves her, and then because he saved her, it transfers to her. So then she looks up and now she's got the counter. And basically, these people, it's like this thing where it's like every time, if you save someone's life, it transfers to them and then they're stuck with the curse of being able to see. But then they also can save someone else's life. Very true calling. Very true calling in terms of plot. But yeah, great video. Great video. But even better song. Fantastic song. Far Away. Far Away is honestly God tier as well. Like, this time, this place, misuse, mistakes, too wrong, too late. Who was I to make you wait? Just one chance, just one breath, just in case there's just one left. 'Cause you know, you know that I loved you, and I loved you all along, and I miss you. Far away for far too long. I keep dreaming you'll be with me and you'll never go. Stop breathing if I don't see you anymore. The music video for Far Away is really good as well, but it's so like what this guy does to her is so awful. So basically it's about this girl and her boyfriend's in the fire, or her husband or whoever is in the fire brigade, and they go into this like really, really bad fire, and it's on the news, and it looks as if, there's casualties and stuff. So that all the fire brigade turn up at her house, and they're all standing there like holding their helmets as if like they're about to tell her that he's died. And she comes out and she just bursts into tears because she thinks he's dead. And then he jumps out from behind them and is like, haha, I'm not dead. And she like gives him a hug. I'm like, I would have punched him in his fucking face if he'd done that. Like, he's like, ha ha, just kidding, I'm not dead. I would have actually decked him like John Watson in Sherlock. Like, I would have punched him in his face. That's not cute. That's awful. But still, very good video. But don't do that to someone. Don't make someone think you're dead. No, that's not cool. Goodbye. Anyway, next contestant, Nickelbop, just because I really, really can't condone this. So basically, the song is about a guy who's going out with a barmaid, and he gets mad that all the guys at the bar hit on them, so he keeps beating everybody up. Like, he goes into the bar and just starts beating up. So that's why he's saying, like, here comes the next contestant. And he's like, is that your hand on my girlfriend? Is that your hand? I wish you'd do it again. I'll watch you leave here freely. I'll watch you leave here bleeding. Is it bleeding? I haven't heard the song in forever, honestly. Limping. I'll watch you leave here limping. I wish you'd do it again. I'll watch you leave here limping. There goes the next contestant. Like, it's a ridiculous idea. Like, I mean, I get, like, guys shouldn't be touching your girlfriend, but I don't think you can just walk into bars and start beating up men. But, like, I suppose at the same time, if they are actually sexually harassing your girlfriend, then by all means punch them. But he just kind of sounds a bit possessive. It's like, because he says things like, what is it? Like, every asshole coming onto her, it happens every night she works. They think they'll get inside her with every drink they buy her as they all try coming onto her this time somebody's getting hurt. It's like, if they're actually touching her, punch them. But see, if they're just buying drinks for her, like, I think you maybe need to cool down. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Side of a Bullet. Side of the Bullet is the song that they wrote for Dimebag Darrell, who was killed in a shooting. Um, I'm gonna say Nickelback for Side of a Bullet. It's not my favorite, but yeah, I went home and cried alone, and on my own, I scratched your name on the side of a bullet. They were really good friends with Dimebag Darrell, and yeah, the song is about how he got murdered. Dimebag Darrell as well. He got murdered when he was actually at his own show, like his Damage Plan show. He got shot, which is just awful. Like it was hideous. I remember it happening. It was hideous. So yeah, really good message behind that song, but not my fave. If everyone cared, honestly, I'm gonna give if everyone cared, here we fucking go. It doesn't. It's too slow for anyone to ever say here we fucking go for everyone cared. But it's such a lovely song. If everyone cared and nobody cried and everyone loved and nobody lied, and if everyone shared and swallowed their pride, then we'd see the day when nobody died. Um, the music video I think makes it even more emotional. The music video tells like stories of like people throughout history who have like stood up for rights and stuff. So it's got like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King, people who have like stood up for freedom, stood up for the rights of different groups of people. And it ends with that quote that I love so much, the one that's attributed to Margaret Mead, that is never doubt that a group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And it's just a really emotional video that makes you think about the power of the people and the power of change, and how if a large enough group of people stand up and fight for their rights, we can actually get change. It's a really, really beautiful video. I think like the suffragists are in it as well. Like I think like the Irish women that marched after like all of the kind of troubles. Like it's a really great video. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch the If Everyone Cared video because it's really good. Someone that you're with. I'm gonna say Elvis without the tassels for someone that you're with. It's not my fave. It's not my fave. So yeah, I want to be that someone that you're with. Elvis without the tassels. Rockstar. Look, I'm gonna give Rockstar Here We Fucking Go. I can't rank it God tier because I just don't think it is. And like Nickelback always say, like people took that song seriously, and they're like, it was supposed to be ironic. Well, it was supposed to be a joke. It was meant to be like satire. It was meant to be satire. Like they were trying to make fun of the music industry, make fun of people wanting to get into music just so that they could like, have a house and an episode of Cribs and a bathroom they can play baseball in. Like it was supposed to be about how that's not the point of the industry. Like you should be in it for the music, you should be in it for the art, not in it to get, pop pills from a Pez dispenser and have a washed up singers writing all your songs and lip sync them every night so you don't get them wrong. Like it was supposed to be satire, and people were like, "Yeah, I want to be a rock star," and they were like, "No, that wasn't what we mean at all. You're not supposed to relate to the song. You're supposed to agree with the idea that this is stupid." But oh well. But I mean, this is the thing. People are always like, "Oh, everyone hates Nickelback. Nickelback are so bad." It's like, well, they certainly got a huge amount of really cool people to be in that video. Like, they've got Playboy Bunnies, ZZ Top, Eliza Dushku is there. Like, they've got so many big names in that video. Like, so they didn't mind having their face associated with Nickelback. So maybe actually everybody who hates Nickelback is wrong because all these cool people wanted to be in their music video. So Rockstar is a jam though. Like, it's not my fave because it's not what I'm here for. Like, it's not why I listen to Nickelback isn't for like funny pop songs, but you can't deny it's hilarious. It's the lyrics are hilarious. It's got a great beat, and you can't help but just sing along and be like, "I just wanna be big rock stars, living hillside passes, driving 15 cars. The girls come easy and the drugs come cheap. Well, I'll stay skinny 'cause we just won't eat." They did a cover of it, like a cover. They did a new version of it with the longest Johns and turned it into a sea shanty, which was ridiculous. It worked so well, and I have no idea why. Like, it shouldn't have, but it did. It was great. If you haven't listened to Rockstar Sea Shanty version, go listen to it. But yeah, like Rockstar is still a good song. It's still a laugh, and it's not like my fave, but you can't help but love it, I think, really. Yeah, so that should be all of yeah, that's all of All the Right Reasons. So next up we're on to Dark Horse. Dark Horse by Nickelback and not Dark Horse by Katy Perry. Coming at you like a dark horse. Dark Horse was a lot darker in a lot of ways, and I wasn't really prepared for it as a child because when did this one came out? Come out 2008. So I was like 13 when this came out. Um, so yeah, like I wasn't prepared for it, but again, it's grown on me as I've got older. It does also have some like it still has some very melodic songs on it though, but it has quite hard songs on it. But actually nowadays, like I pretty much love there's only one song in this album, honestly, that I don't like. So Dark Horse is actually Dark Horse is great. Dark Horse is great. Let's go through. So something in your mouth. Oh my god, can I do it? Can I do it? Off the top of my head, can I do it? Hold on. Where is it? There we are. Something in your mouth is God tier for a start, but Pretty Little Lady and the Pretty Thing song, every sugar daddy hitting on her all night long. She could be with anybody, she don't care about the money. Ain't it funny how the honey wanted you all along? I did it. Pretty Little Lady with the Pretty Thing song, every sugar daddy hitting on her all night long. She don't care about the money, she could be with anybody. Ain't it funny how the honey wanted you all along? You naughty thing, you're ripping up the dance floor, honey, naughty woman. You shake your ass around for everyone. She's such a looker, I love the way you dance with anybody. And tease them all by sucking on your thumb. You're so much cooler when you never pull it out. 'Cause you look so much cuter with something in your mouth. That song always is crazy at the concert because they put the lyrics on the screen because they know no one knows the words, right? But having an entire stadium of people trying to do that that pre-chorus bit is so funny because everyone's just like you so fun. Funny story. So obviously, like I say, I was like 13 when this came out, and I've always been very like prudish, puritanical, I don't know what you want to call it. I was never a very sexual creature. And as a child, I was not one of these kids that was like running around talking about sex because like I still was very like I just didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to think about it. So something in your mouth, it never occurred to me what it was really about. For some reason I had it in my head. I don't know where I got this, right? I'd seen somewhere on TV or something this thing about like a woman who could tie a cherry stem in a knot with her tongue, right? Which is obviously a thing about how she can be very good at using her tongue. But I had it in my head for some reason that something in your mouth was about a girl who could tie cherry stem with her tongue, and the thing that was in her mouth was the cherry stem. Is that truly the most embarrassing thing I've ever said? Yeah, probably. Yeah, pretty embarrassing, pretty cringe. To this day, though, I still think of something in your mouth and picture cherries, even though I know what it's about. I know what it's about. But my brain doesn't process anyway. But I love it. Such a good song. You can't not love something in your mouth, honestly. Burn It to the Ground is my mum's favourite Nickelback song of all time. I'm gonna put it in Here We Fucking Go, sorry mum. But it's great. And when it comes on a concert, I remember they opened one of the concerts I went to, they opened with Burn It to the Ground, and that was the best. I think that's the best opener they've had at a concert because the vibe when they come out and they just immediately come out, it was like the vibe in there was incredible. There was another concert where they opened with, I think it was Edge of a Revolution, and the vibe just didn't happen at all because Edge of a Revolution isn't a big enough song like it's not got the power behind it, so it didn't really get the crowd going because everyone's just kind of like standing on the edge of a revolution. It didn't really work. That was not the right song to open the concert with. But Burn It to the Ground, definitely the right song to open a concert with. And you have to do it because everyone punches the air, so it's like, we're going out tonight. Need to get to where we like. So good. So good. Ooh, it just, oh, it gets everyone going. Gotta be somebody. I'm gonna give Gotta Be Somebody Nickelback, and I feel bad about that, but it's honestly not my favorite. I don't dislike it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not Elvis without the tassels, but like a lot of people like love this song, but it's just not. And I feel like it should be up there. I feel like it's so close and kind of tone to like Saving Me and Far Away. I feel like it should be up there, but it's just not quite there for me. It's just a bit cheesy, honestly. Like nobody wants to do it on their own, and everyone wants to feel they're not alone. There's somebody else that feels the same somewhere. There's gotta be somebody for me out there. Although I do love that you can't give up when you're looking for a diamond in the rough, 'cause you never know when it shows up, 'cause it can be the one you waited on. 'Cause nobody wants to be the last one there, and everyone wants to feel like someone cares, someone to love with my life in their hands. There's gotta be somebody for me. Oh, okay, maybe I do love it, but like it's not my fave, is my point, right? It's not my fave. But like it's a Nickelbop. It's definitely a Nickelbop. I'd come for you. Oh no. Oh no. Where is it? Where is it? I come for you is God's here. I'd come for you, like fair enough, right? It's sort of my ship song for like every single ship because I feel like I watch so many shows. Like most of what I watch is always like some form of fantasy, right? Like Witch, Charmed, Supernatural, The Librarians, um, Battlestar Galactica, um, Buffy, Angel. Like I love fantasy. Anything where there's like there's big stakes, people could die, right? That's the kind of TV shows that I like. I like high stakes. I like fantasy. I like magic. I like superpowers or spells or people who can fly. Like that's what I'm really into. That's like my most favorite kind of like genre. So I Come For You sort of can work for pretty much anything. Like Sam and Dean, Curly and Caleb. Um, I made a video of Dixie and Jeff from Casualty with this song, and that's not even a fantasy show. That's a freaking British medical drama. This song can apply to pretty much every ship, honestly, and I think that's part of why I like it so much. But also, like, I just really love this song. Like I always did. I loved it years ago, right? Like I loved it when the album came out. I just I love the lyrics. I can't believe I said I'd lay our love on the ground, but it doesn't matter 'cause I made it up. Forgive me now. And every day I spend away, my soul's inside out. Gotta be some way that I can make it up to you now somehow. By now you know that no matter what gets in my way, as long as there's still life in me, no matter what, remember, I'd always come for you. I'd go across this world for you. I'd do anything you ask me to. No matter what, remember, I'd always come for you. Like, just such a good song, so emotional. I've seen, like, at least, like, 25 fan videos of various different characters and ships and everything set to this song. Like, I will never get sick of I Come For You, ever. Love it. One of my favourites. Next Go Round is one of their very heavy sex songs. It's basically just about shagging in like every room of the house, honestly. Like I don't know what else to say really. Like where are my lyrics? Here we go. Like I want to do it till the sun comes up, until we're both so good and sweaty that we can't stand up. I want to do it till we're both about to drop. As long as we're tied up together, we're never going to stop. I want to go until the neighbours all complain because they heard somebody screaming and they think we're both in pain. I want to go so long your parents think you've died. They're going to call the cops, the CIA, and then the FBI. I want to go so long your parents think you've died. They're going to call the cops, the CIA, and then the FBI. What the hell? I want to have sex for so long that your family are putting out a missing persons report. What are these lyrics? What are these lyrics? But honestly, Nickelback. Like, it's such a silly song. But it's so fun. It's got such a good tune, but like, what? Ah, oh, I want to cover you with Jello in the tub. Like, shut up. These lyrics. I want you naked with your favorite heels on, slap John Deere across my ass and ride me up and down the lawn. Oh my god, the lyrics are ridiculous. No, Nickelback, that song is so dumb. I love it. Oh, okay. Huge tone shift now. Just to get high. Just to get high is basically like the rock version of Circle the Drain by Katy Perry. Like they're the same song. Basically it's about when you've got a friend who's on drugs. So it's like, and he actually says Circle the Drain, which is so funny because like Katy Perry's song Circle the Drain is about leaving someone because you can't be their sponsor and their girlfriend at the same time. And she says like I'm not gonna stay and watch you circle the drain. And then just to get high, he says like circle in the drain, throw it all away just to get high. Crazy how those are the same song. But yeah, it's a really sad one, honestly. It starts with like he was my best friend. I tried to help him, but he traded everything for suffering and found himself alone. I watched the lion turn into Hayden with scars on both his lips. His fingertips were melted to the bone, but I can still remember what his face looked like when I found him in the alley in the middle of the night. Like, it's just this heartbreaking song about what happens when you lose someone to drugs. Like, and it's like, yeah, 3 days no sleeping, he gave up eating, he sold his mother's ring, she said nothing and pretended not to know. Like, the lyrics are heartbreaking. It's such a sad song. So I'm gonna give it Here We Fucking Go. It's not a Here We Fucking Go. Like, that kind of Here We Fucking Go, but like, it's that good. It's so good. Watching what you got slowly circling the drain, throw it all away just to get high. Like, it's a hard song because it's like, it's as if they're like yelling on them, like yelling at them for like being on drugs. But at the same time, it's like they are definitely sympathetic about it because it's like, I tried to help him, like I wanted to help them, but it gets to that point where you're like, you are beyond help. And if you're not going to listen to me and you're not going to take my advice and you're not going to accept my help, then what do you want me to do? Like, I've tried to help you, but you're not trying to help yourself. There's nothing more I can do for you at this point. Like, that's basically what the song's about, is it's like, I did everything I could, but they will always choose getting high over accepting help, and I can't do that anymore for them. Really, really sad song, but I like it a lot. But yeah, I think the lyrics are so good. Like, the lyrics are heartbreaking. One of their best lyrically, I would say. Shaking Hands. Shaking Hands is about prostitute. Um, so it's like, yeah, she had her eyes on the prize as the girl next door. You grow up quick when you grow up poor. It's the only way to Ellie that she knows. The Hollywood pose, teeth, tits, and toes. So yeah, it's about a prostitute like making her way in California by being a prostitute. She didn't make it this far by just shaking hands. That's basically all there is to it. But it's really catchy. Far too pretty to be given it cheap. That's why she's making 6 figures, working 3 days a week. She didn't even break her promise in the promised land. She didn't make it this far by just shaking hands. I'm gonna say Nickelback. And honestly, considering nowadays we've changed our opinions and we're all like kind of like for the sex workers, I feel like Shaking Hands is like a positive song because it's like he says, like far too pretty to be given it cheap. That's why she's making 6 figures, working 3 days a week. Like, what a fucking icon! What an icon! Like, we all want to be making 6 figures, working 3 days a week. Good for her. Good for her. Good for the Shaking Hands girl. And it's like there's a thing where it's like, where is it? Someone spilled the beans and now our name's in the press. Tough to keep it all a secret when you're one of the best. The judge is going easy because he paid for her chest. Yeah, he loves his naughty little witch of the West. So like she got reported to the police, so it went to court, but the judge is one of her clients, so he let her off with it. Again, Queen, we love it. We love to see it. Good for her. Good for her. Oh, I missed Never Gonna Be Alone. Oops. Never Gonna Be Alone is You Brought Me Nickelback, honestly. Feel so bad for this. Because none of the songs from the past two albums have gone into You Brought Me Nickelback. But Never Gonna Be Alone is just so bad. Like, oh, I just hate it. I just hate it. I feel bad. Like, should it be lower than these? No, probably not. But like, I just hate it. Never Gonna Be Alone is so cloying. It's so cheesy. No, 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 no. You're never gonna be alone from this moment on. If you ever feel like letting go, I won't let you fall. Like, it's just cringe. Like, it's just not good. It's drudgy, and I don't. Nah, it's not. It's not good. I don't like it. Sex is meh. Honestly, I never listened to this song. Like, I'm just not really into it. To be honest, like, the. S is for the simple need, E is for the ecstasy, X is just to mark the spot because that's the one you really want. Sex is always the answer. It's never a question because the answer's yes. The answer's yes. Like, first of all, that reminds me so much of this theme tune to the famous Five on the Case. You don't have to ask, you don't have to ask, you don't have to ask. The answer is yes. Like, no, but no, nah, meh for sex. Meh for sex. Sex is meh. If today was your last day, Elvis without the tassels. I listened to this song so much when it came out, right? But honestly, in retrospect, I find it a bit cringe. If today was your last day and tomorrow was too late, could you say goodbye to yesterday? Would you live each moment like your last? Leave old pictures in the past? Donate every dime you have? And would you call old friends you never see? Reminisce old memories? And would you forgive your memories? Forgive your enemies? Find that one you're dreaming of? Swear up and down to God above that you'd finally fall in love? Like, is the chorus just way too long? I think the chorus is too long. The chorus goes on for ages. Yeah, no, I don't think it was actually their best. In retrospect, I think it's Elvis without the tassels. No, I don't think it was their best work, honestly. Cloying. Maybe I should have made cloying tier, honestly. Could put that and Never Gonna Be Alone in it. This afternoon, looking like another Bob Marley day. This afternoon was their attempt at reggae, which is crazy. Um, Nickel Bob. This afternoon is fun. And like I say, gave us "You Brought Me Nickelback" as a meme. But yeah, no, this afternoon is fun. Just hanging around. No, just sitting around, hanging out this afternoon. This is like the precursor to the Get Rollin' album. Like, this afternoon was their attempt at like summer vibes, at like doing like a summer anthem, and then they released Get Rollin', which is like an entire album of summer anthems. So like, I suppose we have to give them credit for this afternoon because it basically gave us Get Rollin' like over a decade, 15 years later, basically, yeah, or 14 years later, they gave us Get Rollin'. Took 14 years for them to realize this afternoon was the vibe, but you know. Uh, yeah, no, this afternoon is Nickelbob. Definitely Nickelbob. Okay, so that's all of Dark Horse, which means that we'll be back for what was after. What was after Dark Horse? Here and Now, wasn't it? 2011. Yes. Follow up to Dark Horse. Yes. So we'll be back next time for Here and Now, which is honestly my least favorite Nickelback album. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, okay, let's do Here and Now then.